Hi, this is Melanie of Pardesi Reviews, and I'm here to do a review of the Hindi film Chup, starring Sunny Deol and Dulquer Salmaan. If you're new to Pardesi Reviews, I do trailer reactions and film reviews of Indian cinema. All right, this film by R. Balki. The screenplay was written in conjunction with R. Balki, Raja Sen, and Rishi Vermani. It's a thriller, and the whole concept is that there is a serial killer killing film critics. So I'm taking my life in my own hands here, commenting on this film. Every other film critic I've seen who's watched this film has made a similar joke on Twitter. Forgive me. I'm going to have a spoiler section at the end because I really want to talk about some things with this film. But if you want to go into it not knowing who the killer is and all of that, I don't want to spoil any of that for you. So I'm going to try to stay as spoiler-free as I can in this first section. So as I said, the setup, is about a serial killer who, and the title is Chup, Revenge of the Artist. So somehow we know that somebody in the movie industry who has some connection to it is getting revenge on these film critics. And the cops, are puzzled at first, and then they start to pull the thread. There's a love story. There's a quirky character who the audience learns some of the quirks, and then before the interval point, we know who the killer is, but the heroine and other people do not, and so, we're left with that cliffhanger at the intermission, and then, I think you could read through the lines of what I'm saying, probably. I'm probably being overly cautious with trying to be spoiler-free. I liked the original concept. We've certainly never seen this before. We've never seen a serial killer set up like this. And so points for originality. And also this is an homage to Gurudutt and how his most famous film, Paper Flowers, Karaz Ke Phool, which is referenced many times in this movie, was panned by critics, panned by audiences, and is now viewed as a masterpiece. So I am not familiar with Gurudutt's work. I've never seen that film. I think the film did a good job of educating people who don't know about all of that as to what the references were, but I'm sure there were many more references that I didn't get, or parallels drawn and so forth. So the teaser for this film was actually released on Gurudutt's death anniversary. I have some issues with the film, though. I don't know if it completely succeeds in giving me that tension through the film and on the edge of my seat terror of what was going to happen to our heroine who is a prospective victim. I just didn't quite have that. And I don't want to spoil much. I'll talk more about that in the spoiler section. And also there was just really gruesome scenes. I wasn't ready for it. I'm just going to prepare you. If you're going to go see this film, one of the victims is killed by being struck by a train. Now, every other film would just see a slumped body. Like here, we're shown that the body is cut in half. Oh, it's so gruesome. I couldn't believe that they were showing us that. So I wasn't ready for that. So I want to prepare you if you're going to go watch the film. Just if you're squeamish about stuff like that, avert your eyes. And when the police arrive at a crime scene, you might not want to look, but because, oh my God, they don't just tell us about it and show us kind of blurry pictures or something. Oh, man. Okay, the biggest critique that I have about this film, literally a what the F moment for me. Okay. The heroine is played by Shreya Dhanwanthary, and she plays a character who's her mother's supposed to be Tamil, so her last, Nina Menon, so her name means moon, which again has, movie significance. And her mother is blind, and they're sharing this apartment. They've moved to Mumbai from the south. They've only lived there for 4 months. There is a huge poster on the wall that says Woody Allen is innocent. And it is shown, the beginning of a shot, it is shown prominently framed in the shot for like 5 minutes. I was ready to blow my stack. I'm like, how do you do a film and say this is made by film bros without saying it's made by film bros? There is no self-respecting woman who would have a poster like that in their apartment. Absolutely no freaking way. Like, I'm not going to get into all the things about Woody Allen, but oh my God. Like, there's no way a woman would have that poster in her apartment. And the fact that you showed it off and thought it was going to be cute, you get 0 stars for that. Other than that, I thought the performances, Sunny Deol, I thought was particularly good. The heroine, as I mentioned, Shreya Dhanwanthary, she was awesome. And her mother was played by Saranya Ponvannan. I thought she was wonderful. She was really a pistol. I loved her character. Dulquer, I thought, okay, I can't like get into it without too much spoilers. I can't really go there. So I'm going to talk about that more in the spoiler section. There was also one thing that the writers made Sunny Deol do that I thought was completely stupid. I'm revealing that he's the cop. Okay, that's the biggest spoiler. He's investigating all these murders. And at a certain point, he yells out, because the killer has gotten away, and he yells, "Bastard!" And he jumps out of an upper story window, lands badly, and then is limping after to chase after the villain. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? He jumps, like, not like that the villain had immediately jumped out and he was jumping out and not realizing, like, make it make sense. Like, it was just one of those moments where I'm like, oh, no. I'm not saying him losing his cool was bad. I'm saying the jumping part was just, like, ridiculous to me. In the end, interesting films, has some really interesting moments. I loved the homages to the old Hindi cinema, the old songs references, all the Gurudutt stuff. I loved all of that. Really original. Okay, now from this point on, this is going to be the spoiler section. Okay, you've been warned. If you haven't seen the film and you don't want to know what happens, stop. Go back. Okay. Dulquer Salmaan is a serial killer. We learned that. We're hinted at it. This is a spoiler for people who have seen it. Like, we're hinted at his mental health issues from him taking 2 cups of chai and having to drink both and having two breakfasts and, whatever, at meals. So we see that there's this dual nature to him. We could sort of buy into the love story because we think it's the good side of him, and then there's the evil side. But then we actually see him commit one of the murders, and I sort of felt like rather than ramping up the tension, I don't know. Like, that was like right before the interval point, and then I was like, okay, now we know. We were already a little nervous for the heroine. And in fact, the first time he goes over and presents her with these paper flowers, like, she says, "How did you get my address? How did you know where to find me?" And it's like, oh, come on in and have some midley. I'm like, okay, like a woman would be a little bit more, yes, he's cute, but even I would be a little bit nervous to let somebody in that just magically found my address and followed me home or whatever. Like, it's a little weird, okay? So the fact that she just blithely went along with that, yes, cute interaction with her mother, all of that. Love that. But the moment that, I'm just saying, I kind of couldn't get past her letting him in. And then, I don't know, I just didn't feel this kind of tension building through the second half of the film that I feel like I should have. I really liked the ending when we were revealed to see what the film was that was the start of all of this. Like, I thought that was really well done. It just didn't quite have the payoff that this wonderful concept of a film that I thought I was going to get when I walked into the theater. And also, I'm just going to admit my own personal bias that it's really hard for me someone who has seen Dulquer and all of these movies, almost every single movie, be a good guy. And it was hard for me to like flip that switch and be like, okay, I'm supposed to have the hairs in the back of my neck standing up from, fear and like creepiness. And I didn't get the creepy vibes. A Hindi audience that's not as familiar with Dulquer's work maybe could just completely buy into all of that. But it was a harder hurdle for me personally. And I've seen other actors, like Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire, all of that. And then he has played a creepy serial killer. And I don't know. I don't know if quite they got, that dual nature of trying to do the love story and have it not be creepy, but yet have the tension. I don't know if it just completely worked. Okay. But my biggest rant is about that damn Woody Allen poster. Oh my God. I'm still frosted about that. Okay. What would I give this film? I'd probably give it 3 stars out of 5. So draw them on my forehead. Hopefully you will see me in the next video. I will have survived from reviewing this film, Chup. All right. Let me know if you've seen this film. I'm dying to know. I'm seriously dying to know what you thought. Please let me know in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter at PardeziYT. Follow me on Instagram at Pardesi Reviews. And if you hit the bell here, you'll never miss another trailer action or film review.